Zoom into careers for those who are just joining us, and we appreciate those who have been with us for a while. At this point, we have Miss Margarita Sandino from Dixon Gallery and Gardens. She is the Director of Education, and she will be sharing some excellent information with you. We will ask Ms. Sandino to do her presentation, and then we will have about 5 minutes or so at the end to ask questions. And at this time, I will turn it over to Margarita.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming, and thank you for inviting me to do this. This is really great. I know it's kind of a stressful time for everybody, but I'm very excited to have something here for you guys that you can maybe look into it. Like Alicia said, I'm the Director of Education at the Dixon. I don't know if you're familiar with the Dixon. The Dixon is an art museum / gardens here in Memphis. We have 17 acres of gardens. The history of the Dixon is pretty cool. Hugo and Margaret Dixon collected art and had this beautiful home. Before they passed away, they decided to leave everything to become a museum. So we were lucky in Memphis that we have this beautiful jewel hidden in the middle of 17 acres of gardens. The collection kind of started out with French Impressionism. Then we have American Impressionism. We have porcelain. We have sculpture. We have pewter. We have a lot of things. The museum has grown a lot in the past 10 years, and it has really changed completely. We are more community driven, community-based exhibits. We're trying to really have more connections with our students, our educators in Memphis, our partnerships. So that's been really great. The museum opened in 1976, just 2 years after both Hugo and Margaret passed away. And since then, we've been producing gorgeous exhibitions. We have about 3 or 4 main exhibitions that shift every 3 months during a year, and then we have local art exhibitions as well. You're looking at a screen probably of the website of the Dixon. That gives you an idea of what's been up in the last few months. We are in the middle of changing that, so when we get back on track, we'll have more exhibits that you would be able to enjoy. Our permanent collection is basically French and American Impressionism, and it usually lives in our residence, which was the original home of the Dixons, where they used to keep most of their collected art. And so it kind of makes sense to have it there. I work in the education department. I have been the director there since 2007. That's a long time. I love my team. I'm very, very lucky. I started out working with 2 other people under me, and then now there's a total of 7 of us. We have programs for all ages. Our youngest program is directed to 12-month-old kids. It's called Sprouts, and we do a lot of skill-based and expression in the galleries, in the gardens, and sometimes in our studios. We have the programs all the way up to people with Alzheimer's. And then we, of course, covered all the students, college, early childhood, elementary school programs, and throughout the lifespan. Those are on site. We work very closely with the garden department, and we create both art and horticulture opportunities within all of those very many programs that we offer. Within those programs, we offer tours, and that's kind of like the typical thing. And I bring this up because it will make sense in a bit about what we are about. So for the tours, we have weekly tours at 2, and then we have, of course, the tours we offer to students, the tours we offer to just regular visitors, special guests. We give each other tours. We include tours also within the programs. So it's a very varied way of looking at the work at the Dixon. Within the education department too, we have a large outreach program, and you may have seen, have been part of this if you're in Memphis. If you have been in Memphis for the last 20 years studying in any school, you may have had a class from the Art to Grow instructor from the Dixon. We provide art classes for all students, all teachers who want to request an Art to Grow visit. We go and do that. It's first come, first served. And we see about 20,000 students every year with 1.5 instructor, which is pretty cool. The activities are based on the galleries, the permanent collection, the temporary exhibitions, and the gardens. We are adding horticulture programming right now. And we also see through the outreach programs, we also visit senior homes and different community centers, providing also a different experience through outreach. We visit festivals, we participate with our partners, and we provide different opportunities. Because the museum is not very large, there's about maybe 40 employees, we work really close with everybody. So all department heads work together. We co-create programming, we co-create communication and membership strategies. We're all trying to do this together, which is the way to go this time. And we, as part of, let's say, within the Dixon, the professional development that we create for ourselves, we share expertise with each other. So we're a close team. It's a really cool place to work at. And we have many new things happening currently. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. As we are working from home, we haven't stopped. So the first department to get things going was, of course, the education department. We're, I guess, more likely to do things on the go and kind of pick up and just do whatever, and pick it up. Every museum is doing work differently. We are providing content every day in whatever format that is, through social media, through our website. And we're also not giving up on our family days. And we are going to have a virtual family day on May 9th. It should be pretty fun. I encourage you all to join and check it out. And then we, this has been a really great opportunity for us to evaluate and see, how we're going to transition in first, and then how we can improve certain programs. What you're here today for is to learn a little bit about the Dixons and, what opportunities the Dixon may have for you. And you all may have different degrees and come from different colleges and may have different things going on. Currently, of course, it's very difficult for any museum to hire anybody. However, we were lucky enough that we had partnered with the Studio Institute Arts Intern Program. If you're not familiar with that, let me see if I can get to it. And if I click on a weird tab, here it is. There's one. There it is. We partner with the Studio Institute. They have a program that basically is in 6 cities, if I'm not mistaken, and Memphis is one of them. And they help promote internships in arts, specifically in art museums and museums in general. And so we are part of that. We are lucky that we set this up way back and they help us fund the internship. So what this position is, also very lucky. It's a project-based internship. It is a full-time position that lasts 8 to 9 weeks. We are looking for, within our department, we thought that the best, within the museum, we thought that the best, this is our first time doing this partnership, that this kind of internship or position would be cool if it started with education. So this is museum education. We are looking at a candidate, someone that would be excited about art history, about art, about paintings, collections, museums, museum education, art in general. We want to have a project. Our project is going to be very simple. As I mentioned, we have all kinds of tours going on, and we follow different models. You can give a tour in so many different ways. So I and my team decided that we wanted this project-based internship to be closely tied to the tours. And so the idea is that the intern, let me see, oops. I think if I click on here, it'll show it. The intern at the Dixon will be creating a set of tours. And the different tours will have different formats, will have different, attached to different pieces of our permanent collection. And they will then eventually be implemented by the intern, meaning they will be giving these tours and teaching docents how to give these tours, as well as staff. We all give our tours, and I give my tours of my favorite and my least favorite sometimes. And I tell them why they're not my favorites. So there's many ways to do it. We have different models, visual thinking strategies. We also work with time sleep. We have many platforms that we would definitely share with the intern. And it's like a really fun project. The really interesting thing about this is, one, we are partnering with Arts Intern program, but also that because it's related to our permanent collection, we are able to continue and move forward with the internship this summer. The Studio Institute and the Arts Intern program is looking at finalizing new dates of the start for this. We're thinking that July will be the month where we start versus June, which is what it says everywhere. Just keep that in mind. In order to apply for this position, some of the things that need to happen. One is you may need to go to this page, the Studio Institute page, and apply first. So they do a first screening and a first application process. And once they give it a green light, then the intern candidate has to apply with the Dixon at the Dixon page, which I think it's here. Oh no, there's something cool that I want to show you. That's also within the About and Careers. Very simple. Go about what you think is simple, and of course you can't reach it. But anyway, it's on our website, and you can easily get to it. The important thing is the first step is to go to the Arts Intern page, look that up, see what skills we need. The position does pay $15 an hour, and the intern would get paid kind of like regular staff would. Every 2 weeks we get paid, so it would be kind of connected to that. We would love at the end of the internship for the person to have created this really amazing, and I call it this, I don't know if this is like a really cool Rolodex of fun tours, heavy content tours, very light tours, following different models, something that we can use forever and ever since our collection stays the same. Also, it would be some of those will be a model for creating temporary exhibition tours. So we're looking at that too. The Arts Intern program is saying that we would definitely we could definitely look at starting in July with the virtual side of things, and then eventually move on with more of the on-site side of things, either in August or the fall. So they'll determine that very soon. They're working on it right now. We're just happy to be able to offer something, and that very cool connection to the Dixon. If you haven't been, regardless of what you choose to do, if you haven't been, please come see us when it opens. Most likely they will open the gardens first. That's what I've been hearing, and we would love to see you. And once we're open, I will encourage you all to just come see me and say, hi, I was on that call. We'd love to meet you anyway. I think at this point, I would like to hear from you if you guys have questions or want to learn something more specific about this position. Is that okay, Alicia?
Yes, it is. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A section, and we will ask Margarita to answer them.
Great. And if I'm not seeing it, Alicia.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
So our first question, Margarita, is this available for graduate students?
Right. So I think because this has to go through the arts intern, this is a program that it's very specific to undergrad, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there any more questions for Margarita? Okay. Okay, we have two more that have come in. The next question is, are members in the class of 2020 able to apply?
I think so. I think the application process is still going on. So, you know, if you get to that website, you will find more details about the application per se. Originally, the application was going to be up until June 1st. So it's probably still there, and they might extend that. So, yeah.
Okay, and our next question is, are there any opportunities for learning about restoration and paint science? And I think this person is a chemistry degree.
Right. Wow, cool. That's very cool.
Chemistry
We
major.
don't at this exact moment, we don't have that in a position kind of level. We do have a great curatorial team that works closely with conservators around the world that, you know, even though if it's not something very formal, you would be able to connect with them if that's something you're interested. But as far as it's something more formal, we don't have that right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we have maybe one more question. The same person asks, even just for learning, not a position.
Right. Yeah, and I think once we get back in the galleries and in the museum, that would be something that, you know, originally we had internships for 4 different departments, but because we at this point don't have the funds, we couldn't offer them. However, we are always looking to kind of support students and people who are in specific careers like you would be to learn. So it could be more so that it's not a position, it's not an internship, but it's more like a conversation or a meeting or maybe an exploration, observation, that kind of stuff we could definitely set up. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Are there any more questions for Margarita? Okay. Well, thank you, Margarita, for sharing information about the Dixon Gallery and Gardens, as well as the opportunities that are available. Hold on one minute. Carrie has a question or a statement. The education department has just expanded. Do you expect more opportunities in
the future?
In the future, yes.
I guess that.
You know, Carrie.
Right. Well, you know, until this whole thing happened, we were. But at this point, I think we're all just very lucky to have the positions we have currently. Maybe next year, we would look into that. Our outreach program was growing, and we were also doing a lot of, the positions were not formal positions, more like contracted, because we were doing more workshops, we were doing offering more programs to the community. And so those were paid contracting hours for different kinds of people. Can you volunteer there now or in the future? I think in the near future, maybe, yes. There are different projects and different things that we can totally work on together, since we are kind of this new virtual education department. We are creating content, and creating content alongside with curatorial has been something really cool. And I see many projects. At the same time, we have an interactive gallery, and we want to continue to create exhibitions for the gallery. One in particular that we're creating called Meet the Dixons, that it's about both Hugo and Margaret and their love for collecting, requires a lot of research. So in that sense, there may be some opportunities that are not so much hands-on, but are more research-based. Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, Margarita. We really appreciate you sharing this information with us. and your interest in hiring our students.
Thank
And
you for inviting me. And I think everybody may have my email if you want to email me later, or if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to reply.
And for those students who may not have Margarita's email, if you would possibly get in contact with your career services representatives, then we will be happy to forward those questions or either Margarita's email to you so that we can make sure that you make that connection and get your questions answered.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Super good luck to everybody.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.